An expert is advising parents against early schooling for children. Reports speak for non-compliance to Thursday sanitation by market traders. A call has gone to the National Assembly to review the Electoral Act so as to allow the Independent National Electoral Commission to conduct local government elections that will be accessible to all political parties in the country. A political analyst, barrister Tunde Adebanjo, made the call in the chat in Abeokuta. According to him, the syndrome of winner takes it all in local government elections conducted by state government would not encourage the growth of the nation's democracy. He explained that with the review of the Act, the Commission will be able to conduct free and fair elections that will cut across all political parties and the outcome accepted by all. Barrister Adeboale posited that over the years, state government's interest has been hampering smooth conduct of local government elections across the country. Meanwhile, reactions have continued to trail the proposal by the chairman of the National Electoral Empire that the Commission will need 126 billion naira for by-elections this year. Respondents to a Vox poll conducted this Monday described the proposed amount as too high in line with the current economic situation in the country. Mr. Samuel Fagbung and Mr. Charles Eze described it as a waste of public funds, calling for a way to reduce spending. Also speaking, Mr. Samson Chuku, Ms. Ifi Ogechuku, and Mr. Olatunbosun Oshunbi said it was high time the country upped our game and embraced electronic voting with a view to reduce the huge amount of money spent on elections. Parents have been advised not to be in haste when deciding the age that their children will start schooling. This is because there are certain factors that need to be considered which are very crucial to that decision. A pediatric nurse, Mrs. Olufumilola Adekunle, gave this advice in an interview. According to her, starting school depends on the physical, emotional, and cognitive development of a child between the age of 4 to 6. Mrs. Adekunle, who also is an assistant director of nursing at the Federal Medical Center, Abeokuta, explained that the physical development refers to the growth in the ability of a child to use his other body and physical skills. The cognitive has to do with brain development and ability of a child to learn, think, reason, and remember, while the emotional is the ability to experience, express, and manage emotions. She said, many parents consider the intelligence of their children without putting into consideration their maturity, noting that psychologically the brain is built to mature at a certain stage before it begins to absorb things outside its environment. The nurse submitted that subjecting children to school earlier than age 5 is not too good as it amounts to subjecting them to pressure. You are listening to the state news on OGBC 90.5 FM. Despite the every Thursday compulsory environmental sanitation for markets, women and men, as well as shop owners, it has been observed that some traders and owners of lock-up shops do not participate in the exercise. According to OGBC Reuben reporter, drains in areas such as Bansheke Post Office, Kuto, and other parts of Abeokuta metropolis are filled with dirt as some of the market men and women do not come for the weekly exercise. A passerby, Mr. Yomi Collins, who spoke on the pile of refuse in drains at Post Office, pointed out that the condition of the drain is an eyesore because some of the shop owners in the area had turned the drains around the skating ground into a dump site. On their part, Ms. Yeni Adeoye and Mr. Edward Shubowale called for proper monitoring by sanitation officers in ensuring owners of lock-up shops to observe the weekly sanitation by cleaning the dirt in the drains in front of their shops. The main man in the Gateway State and the chairman of the Southern Governors Forum, Prince Dapo Abiodun, has described the incident of tanker explosion in Niger State as a devastating tragedy. The governor in a statement in Abeokuta on Sunday commiserated with Governor Mohammed Bago and the people of the state, urging them not to allow Their spirits damper their morals. He prayed for the repose of the souls of the victims of the incident while expressing hope that the injured will have speedy recovery, while calling on the state and federal agencies to redouble their effort in managing the fallout of the tragedy. Governor Abiodun urged the federal government to liaise with Niger state government and render any assistance that the state may require at this time. The environment is our abode, desist from indiscriminate dumping of refuse. To end the state news, another look at major items. A public analyst, barrister Tunde Adebanjo, in a chat with OGBC, called for the review of the Electoral Act as to allow the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to conduct local government elections that will be accessible to all political parties in the country. In an interview, a pediatric nurse, Mrs. Olufumilayo Adekunle, has advised parents against early schooling as this may subject them to pressure. We also told you that traders are not complying with the Thursday's environmental sanitation. The state news was edited by Elizabeth Kuforiji and broadcast from OGBC, Abeokuta. For exclusive programs and the latest news updates, visit our website at ogunradio.ng. Follow us on Facebook at Ogun Radio Abeokuta and on X at OGBC 90.5 FM. You can also listen to OGBC on the Radio Garden.